The word toxic is a buzzword right now, probably the last years. And we as INFJs don't do what the mainstream does. We always look behind the curtain. So that's why so often we get into relationships with people in any capacity where we're actually talking to a toxic person, but we don't want to see them this way. Because how do we define a toxic person? As INFJs, we always see the reason behind their reaction, why they have a problem with us, why they're not acting in a healthy way. And we always try to understand them. But it's exactly those relationships that get us most in trouble. It's those relationships that hold us back the most, and we don't even recognize it. So how do we know who is toxic? How do we know that this person is actually making our life miserable, is sucking out our own energy because of everything we put into that relationship, and we're completely neglecting putting that energy into our life, into our evolution, into our path, and creating everything we have ever dreamed of? That's what we're going to tackle today, because I can tell you one thing for sure. Cutting out toxic people out of your life, once you understood who is actually toxic, will be the biggest game changer ever. Remove negativity from your life, and you'll see how you will blossom. So let's talk about today how we're going to make it in the real world. Before we get started, I want to remind you the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp launches October 26th. So make sure you're on that waiting list to get access to the early bird price and get notified once we go live. Check out the free poster on the topic, and everything else you might want to know you can find through the links in the description. There's some people who are toxic that are really easy to spot, but those people aren't really our problem. If there's somebody who doesn't really interest us, it's just somebody who gets triggered by us or we get triggered by them, we don't like them, it's really easy to understand that, that's not a person that is really adding value. Maybe they don't have really good morals or they don't act out of integrity. It's really easy for us to, just push those people out. It's those people that we feel like we could add value to. It's exactly those people where we feel like, oh, there's so much goodness in them. And we try to look at them from the perspective of, you're such a good person. All you need is just a little bit of a switch of perspective. Then everything would be fine. Those are the people that get us in trouble. And so if you have a hard time saying, oh, that's a toxic person, then let me let you in on a little secret. You don't have to define somebody as toxic. You can define the relationship dynamic as toxic as well as the person's role in your life. Game changer. So often for us, if it's an ambiguous thing, it's hard to really pinpoint that's a bad person, that's somebody that doesn't deserve my compassion. And we allow there to be a flow of energy with that person, when in reality, that should be a person that we cut off forever. It doesn't even mean that we can't have a relationship with that person in the future, but if there's a chance for this relationship to have any positive impact on our life, and that is a necessity, by the way. So never ever feel like if you can give to a person and they're not being appreciative of it, they're not being thankful, they're not really apologizing or thanking you, that, that is something that is beneficial. Yes, you can volunteer. Yes, you can donate to causes that are important to you, and you're not actively getting something back in this sense. That is totally fine. But a person that you want to have any kind of relationship with, they have to be at least appreciative of what you do. That means if they have done you wrong, you need and deserve an apology. If that person is not actively going out of their way, reaching out to you and apologizing, that's a toxic connection. Period. So if somebody has ghosted you, if somebody has acted in a way that was disrespectful, stop trying to understand them. It does not matter. It always seems like, well, the reason why it happened is because I have this really intense energy and it's hard for them and I trigger deeper wounds in them. Who cares? Who cares? It does not matter. You are a human being and you deserve to be respected as such. Would you ever do this? Would you not apologize when you have understood that you have hurt another person, that you have abused their trust, or, neglected to show appreciation. No. So we have to be okay with having expectations in people also towards us. When it comes to integrity, when it comes to morals, and it doesn't only matter how they treat people outside of you, it matters how they treat you as well. If you caught them lying, if you've caught them acting in a way that isn't in alignment with how you deserve, and you have voiced to them that this is not something you're going to accept, this is not something that you're okay with, and they don't change their behavior, toxic. Period. We don't need to analyze it. I always like to give examples of, let's say a physically abusive relationship. The victim in that situation always finds a way to justify the abuser's behavior because they are in an energetic connection with that person. But if you look at the facts, the truth is they are not treating you correctly. And the only way you're going to accept them back into your life, energetically even speaking. So it doesn't even mean that you have any kind of real relationship with them right now, but even if it's some kind of limerence or you are thinking about that person is only allowed in your thoughts once they've proven to you that they are able to take accountability for their actions. How do we do that? It feels so hard so often because we always see a person from their best perspective. I'm going to tell you what I did. So if you look at the abundance scale, right? The highest form of showing up isn't love, it's authenticity. That's where we want to be at. We want to be as truthful and as authentic as we possibly can. That's when we really show up in a way where we can tap into our potential. We're repelling everything that doesn't belong into our life. And we're also able to move forward and create amazing results. But that is an ideal world. That's what we're leaning into. If you go lower on the spectrum, on the bottom, there are things like shame and guilt and numbness. And if you move a little further, there's anger, and then there is acceptance, then there is willingness to move forward. And so there's a lot of steps in between. And the one thing that I really want you to tap into and just allow to happen is anger. Because anger is this one energy that is going to shift from numbness to, the next level. It's the one that allows you to transform energy. That's why if we're in a numbed out state, we're even attracted sometimes to people who experience anger because it's actually a higher vibration. So how do we do that? Allow yourself to be angry at another person. The reason why we so often numb ourselves is because we need a connection. So as kids, we needed a connection to our caregivers, for example, in order to survive. And if they didn't allow us to be ourselves, then we needed to numb ourselves in order to be able to survive. That was a very smart move. There's nothing wrong about it. But that's why we so often react with numbness when somebody's not treating us correctly, why we don't feel anything, why we try to explain why they're feeling this way, or we're tapping into their emotions. What is going to help us is to tap into anger, temporarily. You don't have to live there. You don't have to get stuck there. And most of the time, if we're people who have numbed ourselves out, we're so afraid of that because we feel like it's never going to stop, but it will stop. You just have to tap into it because once you allow anger to happen, you can work through so much of those emotions that you've numbed down that then you're able to go to the next level. So what does that mean? That maybe means to say things like, bye, idiot. It means to say, get the F away from me. One of the things I love to say is, there's this song by Lily Allen that was something like this, F you very, very much. And this is a mantra I just repeat to myself every single time a person like this comes back into my mind. Because it allows me to just tap into those areas of myself that aren't very pretty. This isn't how I want to see myself. I want to love everybody. I want to be able to see everybody as, perfectly imperfect and accept them. But anger is a valid emotion. And if you have allowed a connection with somebody who is actually, draining you, and it's more of an attachment than a positive, connection, because it's not based on you loving yourself and then connecting to somebody, but it's you neglecting yourself in order to tap into their energy, then something like anger is a great catapult. Remove that person. Imagine everything you need in order to distance yourself from that person, from that toxic person that is not allowing you to feel your best. Feel guilt, feel shame, feel like you shouldn't have allowed this connection to happen. Accept the fact that you didn't treat yourself right, and it's okay because that's as good as you are able to show up for yourself at that time. It's a real good way of getting back to yourself because you're allowed to be angry. It doesn't make you less lovable. It doesn't make you less of a good person. And you'll see what will happen. Once you do that, you are actually able to see and look at the situation way more realistically. Because at the end of the day, if that's a person who didn't act out of integrity, if that is a person who didn't drain your energy, if that is a person who wasn't taking from you and wasn't giving back, then you're going to feel good after you felt angry towards them. You will have compassion for them again. But if you're able, once you tap into your anger, like energetically, once you're able to look at them for the truth, which are exactly those points we just mentioned, you can then make better choices. The truth is this: every single person who is in your life, every single person that you think of, that you have a connection with, a positive connection on top of that, can only be somebody who has, if they've done you wrong, taken accountability, apologized, and really have shown you that they respect you, that they really show up, that they face you, that they have honest conversations with you. So often we allow people to do whatever because we feel it's us who are the aliens. We are not the ones who are supposed to, demand so much. We are. We're not expecting too much. It's just most people that we get stuck on are not healthy. They are toxic. A person who is not toxic will apologize. A person who is not toxic will take accountability and will stand there and talk to you about it and try to fix it. If they don't, it's totally okay for you to categorize them as toxic in your mind. So what is the worst thing that could happen? That you could call somebody toxic in your mind and at the end of the day, they weren't? Is that really that bad if it helps you out of a connection that is draining you? Think about it. Why is it always okay to, give the other person the benefit of the doubt? Why isn't it okay for you to give yourself the benefit of the doubt? That it's okay to accuse people wrongfully. In your mind, nonetheless. We're not even saying that you have to make this big disaster around that person. It's just that we have to mentally remove people from our mind who are not adding to our life, who are not adding to the person that we want to be. They might not be adding a lot, but when we have a connection with them, when we have a conversation, it should be something that adds value to us. And even if it's something like us mentoring another person, then the energy they're giving back to us is appreciation, is kindness, is honesty. And if they can't do that, you're totally okay to call them toxic in your mind. It's totally okay to feel and express anger towards them and to actually put them down in your mind, because most likely you've actually put them on a pedestal and allowed them to act in ways that were not nice or moral or full of integrity to begin with, but it was the only way you could justify the energetic connection you had with them. So let's change that. You deserve better than that. And you'll see some people will actually change their ways. And the people who don't, bye-bye. Remember, if you want to join our amazing community of INFJs creating their INFJ Epic Life together, then the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp launches October 26th. I hope I see many new names there. Everything you need to know in order to join us, you can find through the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.